Hey everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at etrailer. Today we have the Thule Motion 3 Roof Box on our 2025 Hyundai Palisade. If you're looking for an extra large cargo box that looks really good, this might be a good option for you. Now there's some things that I did as I was installing the roof rack and installing the roof box to make sure that we had the best fit overall. So if you're curious about that, stick around. There are 3 things you may want to consider with the Palisade. The first is your sunroof up front. How far forward does the roof box sit? The next is going to be your height of the vehicle. How tall is the roof rack and your roof box on top of it? And finally, towards the back, do you have access to opening up your hatch completely? Now, this is going to be an extra large box, and opening up the hatch, we do clear, just barely, but we do clear. So now you have full access to your cargo area up top on your roof, and you have full access to your cargo area in your vehicle, which means you can bring everyone and everything for all of your trips. The access towards the back was accomplished by how I set up the roof rack. So I actually have the Thule Flush Evo system on our flush rail of our Palisade. And note where we have our crossbars set up. So they needed to be far enough back where they could actually clamp down, but not too far back where the box was then really far. So here we have a really good fit. Another perk to these bars is that second thing I talked about, the height of the roof box. On our website, we have the dimensions of the box, which you add to your crossbars to see how high the box is. And you can also measure from the roof to the top of the box. So I have it at around 19 or 20 inches, depending on where you measure, for our added height. This is something that's really important if you have a low garage door. So your Palisade is already on the taller end as a vehicle. So those garages, garage doors, things like that, double check your total height with the roof box loaded up on your vehicle. Now this is going to be an aerodynamic box though, so as you are driving around, this is designed to just shift that wind on over, reducing the wind noise, reducing the wind drag. So even though you have a lot of things loaded up here, ideally, you really shouldn't hear it as much. As for that sunroof though, it is kind of covered. You can see the outline of the roof box. There is some light around the sides, but enough where I would say that this is pretty obstructed. In fact, as someone that owns a vehicle with a sunroof, whenever I have a roof box on there, if I open up that sunroof, it actually guides all of that wind into the cabin area and creates a fair amount of noise. So I always keep my sunshade closed, and that's just an option for you too. We've established the roof box does fit on the Palisade. What is the experience using this roof box now? Well, I have the box centered on the roof simply because I can't quite load anything else up on there, so why not center it? And with where it does sit, it actually is pretty easy to load things up. So I have the key, turn that to unlock, open up the latch, lift up on that handle, and now our roof box is open. So notice that large opening makes it easier to throw your larger duffel bags in there. The positioning of the box, as well as how it has a lower platform, means you're not lifting up and over a sidewall, you're kind of just pushing on in. So this just all makes it a lot easier to load things up. The angle is pretty reasonable for me. If I needed to get closer in, sometimes I might just step on the wheel of the car, or I would get the Moki doorstep to give me some extra height. And if I really can't reach things in the box, it is dual access, so I could just go on the other side. And that's my tip for loading up roof boxes. I always plan which side of the roof box I have things. Let's say things I don't need as often, they're gonna be on the driver's side. Things I need maybe throughout the trip, they're gonna be on the passenger side. It's whatever makes the most sense for you for your organization. This has a long handle, which you saw me earlier push up, but another part to that is the lid is pretty heavy and it has some well-supported springs. So what that means is that it keeps the lid open as you're loading and unloading, but then as you pull this lid closed, and you do have this pull handle to make that process easier, since it's such a large box, you want a heavier lid because then it's easier to latch the whole thing from this center handle. If you've ever used some of the older design roof boxes throughout the years, you usually have to push down all throughout the box for it to actually latch. This one latches just like that. And as a side safety feature, if it is not latched, you won't be able to remove the key. So if your keys are in hand, you know your box is locked. So the owner of this vehicle is actually an eTrailer neighbor that bought this whole system and had us install it here. They wanted to make sure that they got the best fit for them, and I think they chose really well. They got the box in a glossy gray, or Titan glossy, like Thule calls it, which matches nicely with their vehicle colors. Maybe you're trying to figure out what is the best kit for you. You might not need the largest cargo box. You might be carrying other things too, and you may be looking for direction or guidance in that area. Well, feel free to give us a call. We love helping people out with finding the best fit for their adventures. One note I do have though, is that the larger the roof box you have, the more space you're going to need when you store it, as well as you may need a little bit of help with getting it up and onto the roof. I had someone to help me out, support one side of the box as we loaded this up and onto the car, and it mounted very quickly. If you're curious about that process, we also have all that information here on our website as well. But today, what you saw was a look at the Thule Motion 3 21 cubic foot extra large roof cargo box right here on the 2025 Hyundai Palisade. My name is Evangeline. I hope you enjoy this journey.